Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Well, some of you have heard President Trump did sign the $2.3 trillion, bill that carries the government through, funding for the government. I think it's probably through to next year. And also the stimulus package is a part of that whole bill. President Trump also, in signing the bill, he also placed a lot of line item vetoes on the bill, mainly focusing on spending to foreign governments, anywhere from Venezuela to Jordan and to all these different countries. And we're sending millions of dollars to 25 million or so to Pakistan, involving gender studies and some other things dealing with democracy, something like this. When the American people are suffering, why are we sending so much money overseas? And why are we getting so much kick out against a President Trump saying, hey, the American people deserve a lot more, but at least don't be giving them some measly or ridiculous $600. At least give the people at least $2,000 for a direct payment. And so the Democrat Party and the Republican Party in Congress are working on this bill even now as we speak, as we're recording here. But hopefully this bill will pass and the President Trump will sign it into law after the Senate passes it. But of course, the Senate is already saying that they're going to turn it down. But let me tell you, if the Republicans refuse to back President Trump in this bill and this request for higher numbers for the American people, they better look out. They're setting themselves up to never regain control of the House and probably to lose control of the Senate. Because I call on you members of the Senate to remember, we got an election that's going to happen on January 5th. If you want the American people or the people in Georgia to stick by you and put these people in office, because people, when you don't treat them right, they will do stuff to spite you. So you may push against the American people. I guarantee you that they will push back. And I please, we need to get this thing approved, to get put through. The Republican Party is going to be suffering really bad. The Republicans refuse to back President Trump in the election investigations, and they're going to pay for it. If they don't, they may lose control of the Senate and lose control of the Congress even more so. There are swamp creatures in the Republican Party. This is very clear to me, and it should be clear to a lot of you as well. Earlier, I called the Democrats the party of systematic racism, which I do believe they are. Because the people that are always touting something normally are the people who are guilty of it. They're constantly talking about racism, so their focus is on race. But you have the Republican Party, unfortunately, who's focused on the elite and their privilege that they have in being in Congress and in the Senate. We need to stop this. American people, especially those in the Senate and those in the House of Representatives. The American people are the government. We are in control. You don't think so? Push us hard enough and you will have a revolution on your hand. It's happened in other countries and it could well happen in this country as well. The Republican Party feel that they are elites. But I'm telling you, Republican Party, you would have no popularity whatsoever had it not been for President Trump and all he accomplished in office. Yet when he needs you most, you turn your back on him. You senators, Graham and all these people up there, you guys need to get your crap together. You need to support the President of the United States. He is a Republican. He is a part of your party, whether you agree with him or not. You need to get behind him. There was actually dozens, thousands of pieces of evidence that supports President Trump's claim that there were too many irregularities in this election process for presidential election to be left to the side. And how many of y'all really believe that Joe Biden, who can't even remember his name half the time, who calls himself his own wife, got 80 million votes. Whenever he went somewhere, his rallies have 4 or 5 people, maybe 8 or 9. Give me a break. The Democrat Party, they will sell the American people down the river. Unfortunately, the Republican Party as well, through privilege, will do the same thing. So I am a member of the Republican Party, but I do not stand behind all this foolishness. And the only reason I am a member of the Republican Party is for the platform that they run on. A lot of them probably don't even believe it. They're probably liberals themselves, but they run on a Republican platform that supports those things that I care about: pro-life, pro-marriage, not same-sex marriage, not that stuff. I don't support that. I'm sorry, people that think that I should. I don't. But there's abortion, these things like this. I'm against it. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with you here in a moment on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth.
Did you know Kelly Loeffler was ranked the most conservative senator in America?
Yep, she's more conservative than Attila the Hun.
Fight China. Got it. Attack big government.
Yeah. Eliminate the liberal scribes.
More conservative than Attila the Hun.
Uh-oh.
Kelly Loeffler, 100% Trump voting record.
I'm Kelly Loeffler. I approve this message.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice of David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Well, the government in Washington is broken. With all President Trump did and attempted to do, even he realized when it comes down to the business, as usual, the Democrats and the Republicans are on the same side of the aisle. They want it back the way it was, where they get their kickbacks, where they get their PAC money from all these liberal interest groups or interest groups that want to throw money at the Congress people and the Senate to get things and to get them to vote it their way. They rode on the President Trump's coattails for the years that he was in there as long as they could until the Democrat Party attempted to steal the election. I believe right now the President Trump is done with them all. He's done with the Republican Party. But I don't think he's done with the American people. That is why I believe he's continuing to move toward challenging this election and these election results. And I believe that the Senate, the Congress, you need to stay behind President Trump. Because I can almost guarantee you, if you don't and you allow this mess to go on, your butts will not be sitting in Washington in the years to come. The Democrats will control the Senate and they will control the House for a long time to come. They're happy. They know what's going on. But you fools in the Republican Party, you better wake up. Because if you don't, you might as well stay in your home, go to bed, go down your basement like Joe Biden did, and go to sleep. Because you're going to lose your jobs, you're going to lose your position in Washington, and you will have no influence at all with the American people because you're turning against them when they're in their most needed time, and you're giving these bills, millions of dollars, to other countries who hate us. Venezuela hates us. Jordan, they don't love us. These people hate America. Yeah, you're throwing money out there, and I even know for a fact, even though there's some people that will come on here in days to come from Pakistan. There are people in Pakistan that hate this country. So, you can say what you want. You keep turning your back on American people, Republicans, and you will find yourself wanting. There are some that are planning to stand up to disagree with the Electoral College, which I agree with that they should, but part of the Republican Party leadership are wimps. Yes, I called you that. You're wimps. Part of your wimps. You don't care. You sell to the American. You would sell your own mother down the river if it could get you a few extra dollars in your pocket. The same as the Democrat Party. I'm on the side of God. He will make things right regardless of what either side says. It's like what David Perdue says all the time, even in his commercials. You probably see something on my program. They need adults in Washington, not a bunch of crybabies. People that stop wanting to screw the American people. And that's exactly what you people in Washington are doing. You're screwing over the American people. Don't we deserve to get out of this mess that was thrust upon us by a Chinese Communist Party whom you, Democrats, bought into this darn country? Selling our land and selling our companies here. It should have never happened. With the atrocities they perform against their own people, they should never have been allowed to set up any kind of shop in this country. Yet everything you freaking buy in this country says on it, made in China. I was laughing while I was in Walmart the other day. Walmart. They had the Walmart and some other stores here in the area. They got masks. Everybody wants you to wear masks. Biden wants you to wear masks. You know, look at your mask. If you didn't make it yourself, I challenge you. Look at your freaking mask, and I can guarantee it says on there, made in China. Isn't that kind of strange? You realize somebody needs to do a tally on this. How many millions of dollars have the Chinese made on selling those freaking masks here in America? Let's think about that. Just the fact that they required each person to wear a mask. You imagine how many sales have gone up on their mask sales here? I bet you it's phenomenal. The Republicans in the Senate need to do the difficult thing for them. Help the American people. Agree to that increased direct payment and put through the direct payment increases to go to badly needed people of America who badly need it. The Republican Party, if you don't do this in 2022, you are going to be hurting in Congress. The Democrats will take a majority there, and you will pretty much be screwed. And if you don't take care of this increase in direct payments right now, guess what? The Senate will be in charge, and the Republicans will have years before they have a Republican Senate or Republican Congress. So you need to do the right thing regardless of whether you think it's right or not. Because you work for the American people. Not for Lindsey Graham or for Chuck Schumer or anybody else. You work for the American people, the public, the voting public. Not people that you trumped up Democrat Party, making up false ballots up in New York and other places. This stuff has been proven. It's already been realized. Except you have the fake news media lying about it. Yeah, the fake news media telling a lie. Trucks of ballots coming in from New York and New Jersey, from Pennsylvania. What the heck is that? People pulling boxes and bags of ballots from under tables after poll watchers have been thrown out of the meeting. And they say they're going to stop the what's name. And this election isn't corrupt. There's nothing going on. There's no fraud. Give me a freaking break. What did I tell you before? Ask your police friends. If any of you Democrats out there have any of them, ask them, what do you do when you arrest a criminal? And what do they say? I didn't do it. It wasn't me. People could have seen them shoot and kill somebody, and they will say it was somebody else. They look like me. You know, many years ago, I had a cousin that was arrested. And when they arrested his brother, they had pictures of him with the same clothes he had on. He escaped from prison. And he's sitting there talking about, it's not me, it ain't me, had the same stupid Jerry Kelly had when they arrested his behind. But you need to vote for those direct payment increases, Republican senators, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself looking for a new job when it comes to the next election on the Senate. And you're going to have a rough time because you'll be fighting against a Democrat-controlled Senate when you do all these opportunities trying to pass the bills that you want to get through. They need to understand it is Trump supporters who put them back into office. You hear that, senators and Congress people? The Trump supporters are the one who put your behinds back in office. This time around, I don't even think I would have probably voted Republican with some of the garbage that you people are throwing out there against the American people. Stop setting up on your high horse and your fancy houses and everything else and not going back to your home, some of you leaders in Senate, afraid because the people are protesting against you for the way that you're voting in the Senate and in Congress. Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back with you here once again on the Black Conservative Voice, here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth.
Meet Raphael Warnock. He wants you to know he eats pizza with a fork and a knife. He once stepped on a crack in the sidewalk. But Georgians don't care about that. Georgians care that Raphael Warnock was a proud defender of anti-American, anti-Semitic pastor Jeremiah Wright, who suggested America deserved the 9/11 terrorist attacks.
Not God bless America, God damn America.
We celebrate Reverend Wright.
Warnock said law enforcement officers are gangsters and thugs and a danger to children. He's anti-Israel, anti-Second Amendment, sympathizes with Marxists and socialists, and wants to make your neighborhoods less safe. Don't let him fool you with pizza and puppies. Raphael Warnock is too extreme for Georgia.
It's hard to believe that my opponents have been in office for 63 years. I've spent my life learning how to deal with large, complex situations like I found at Reebok and Dollar General. If these politicians had any understanding of the free enterprise system and knew how to make a difference, wouldn't they have done it already? Help me change the childish behavior up there. If we want different results in Washington, we have to send a different type of person to Washington. I'm David Perdue. I approve this message.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. As I said earlier, the Congress at this time is preparing for submission of the changes to the stimulus direct payment part, also, and maybe some other things in that bill that just was signed into law or signed by President Donald J. Trump. And senators, I advise you, you better sign the bill. You better push the bill through. I know for sure the Democrats are going to do it. But Republicans, stop the fighting. Stop the foolishness. We are watching you. And I'm not talking about just the Democrats. I'm saying the Republican Party. The constituents of your party are watching you. They know that this country has a deficit, and you know it has a deficit. When did the deficit happen? We didn't have this freaking problem until you there in the government decided to shut our cities down. Democrats, you need to release your freaking people too. They start shutting us down, destroying our businesses, destroying our livelihoods, and then tell us that $600, Mr. Mnuchin, is going to be good enough. Let's see if we pay you $600 when your sorry paycheck gets on you. What would you do, Mr. Mnuchin, if you woke up, came, looked in your bank, and all they put in your bank was $600? Telling you, hey, make it through. We destroyed your income. We destroyed your business. Trump wants an increase, but the majority of Republicans say they don't want to do it. Do it. I want to see it come out in the news on Wednesday. I want to see that you approve this package, Senate, and I want to see it go through. Else your butt is going to be in a world of trouble when the election comes up again. And you're going to lose control of the Senate because the people in Georgia are watching too. They're going to say, well, look, if they're not going to stand up for the American people and they're trying to get Trump out of there and everybody's standing behind the Democrats believing the garbage of the mainstream media, then maybe we should just go ahead and give the Democrats control of the Senate and don't even go out and vote. Watch and see what happens. I mean it, senators. Y'all better get your butts out there and you better pass this bill. Stop all the mammy-pamming and whining. The Republican Party leadership need to understand if they want to remain in office, you need to support the American people. President Trump has already set the standard. If you don't support the American people, guess what? You're going to be standing on the corner with your thumb out, looking for a job. As we've seen many people on the streets now who lost their businesses. People who worked hard all their lives to establish a business. Now some of them are even homeless, standing in food lines. You talk about you don't want socialism, you're allowing the Democrat Party to go ahead of you, because they're going ahead of you. They want to give money to the American people. They want to get us out of the food lines. If I have a couple of $1,000, I can afford a little food. Americans have had a lot of time to think. We've toughened up, and Washington is not going to have it so easy from now on. We have toughened up. We know what you're doing. We're watching. President Trump has done that. If he's done nothing else, he's woken up the giant of the American people. There are going to be peaceful protests. You come out with garbage, we're coming after you. And we're going to keep coming after you, Gavin Newsom in California, till they get your butt out of the governorship. You don't belong there. You're a crook, you're a criminal, stealing from the plans that are put forward. $2.9 million in PPP to your sister and her companies and all your corrupt associates there. So we got this family, the Newsom family, and the Biden family running around corruption, and everybody's just annoyed, and the mainstream media ain't saying nothing about it. If it wasn't for the conservative media, you would hear nothing about this garbage. But they need to get Gavin Newsom out of the office, and they need to cut this crap out about Joe Biden won. He didn't win. You can call him president-elect all you want. 80 million votes. Give me a break. Even the most popular president that ever got in there, which I think, unfortunately, was Barack Obama, because everybody was going off the fact that it was his color of his skin. But I'll tell you this one more time before I go. You will no longer be able to blow the people off. Keep doing it. Bush tried that garbage. We didn't like him, and he finally got his butt out of office. And I wouldn't vote for any Bush you paid me. Because anybody could be bought by the system and pushed out and allowed to control Democrat Senate. And what's the name? President Trump handled this situation. Even though he had all this fighting against him, he did whatever he could do through executive order to help the American people. Let me tell you about my theory about this foreign aid that we see going on in this bill that's out here. And then I better close. That foreign aid, the Democrat Party, you don't think that they're smart enough to know that they can send that money to their friends overseas, say, hey, look, take $50 million out, send the rest back to the states here, or the people that are asking money for in the different states. Watch the money. Watch the money, what I say. Pay attention to the Benjamins. When that money goes out, who knows where it goes? You go to the foreign company, President Trump, I think you know about it. But President Trump, be aware. They didn't like the fact that you turned down their aid to the state, so they start sending it out in the foreign governments. They're not sending it to the foreign governments, they're sending it to their friends in other nations who want to go along their way. Since they think they got Biden in there, they're going to use this so they can bring money back into the states to support those corrupt leaderships in those Democrat states that use the funds that they have for their own partying or whatever and hurting their own people in their states. You really think that money's just going to go out there and stay out there? Whatever happened to that $640 million that Obama had left over? Anybody know where that went at? When we bailed out the auto industry and all those other different things? Well, Kelly McEnany in the recent days slammed Jake Tapper because he's saying stuff about her, saying she's lying and she's alive. Time shows them out. The mainstream media, you liars. Every time you open your freaking mouth, you're lying. But the one thing I like to hear in the news, and I haven't looked too deep into the story, the tensions is rising in the Socialist Squad, which is AOC and her little gang. So that little gang, I think, is going to be shut up anyway. Because I really don't think Joe Biden wants to go along with that garbage anyway. But Joe Biden said recently in an interview on CNN, I believe it was, that he disagreed. If he disagreed with his running mate, he would claim that he has some kind of main bad disease and he would just resign as a president. And you think that Nancy Pelosi talking about the 25th Amendment and declaring somebody incompetent was just a thought. Yeah, it was a thought that she knew they were replacing an incompetent that would go into the presidency. That's why they fought so hard to try to get him in place, because Nancy Pelosi really wants to be the vice president. But we better get her butt out of there as well. Her, Chuck Schumer, all these people need to go. Chuck Schumer is going to take us a little longer. But Nancy Pelosi, we got a couple of years. We need to get them out of office. Whew, man, there's so much news going on. But I do hope and pray the Republican Party will listen. Maybe some will listen to this program. I encourage you, if you know anybody in that main Senate or whatever, you need to talk to them. Because if they turn down this plan that's sent forth by the Congress to be approved, then they are in for a world of hurt come January 5th. David Perdue, you and Kelly Loeffler, you better get in touch with the Senate and you need to talk to them, because they're about to get you thrown out of the way so that you're not able to get into the Senate. You think the fact that those races are so close are an accident? It's not an accident. That's all I'm going to say about it. But Republicans in the Senate, you need to pass this bill. You need to get it through. They asked you for $1,200. You wouldn't go for that. You backed out of the last number. Mnuchin, you better wake up, because I think your days are short anyway. I think you're about to hit the road. And I know you probably were appointed under President Trump, but you're about ready to go anyway. And for the way these people have been treating the American people, I'll be glad to see them go. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us here on the Black Conservative Voice on the CTM News Network. My name is David Colbert. And I want to say to you what I always like to say to the people out there, because ultimately it's all about Him. It's all about God. He is in control of all things. I have no doubt that it will all work out somehow. So I want to say to you what I always like to say. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert saying good night and God bless.